Hey there. Today I'd like to issue a very concrete warning. Do not trust Donald Trump on Yemen. Last week, something very hopeful happened. The U.S. Senate decided to salvage a shred of its self-respect and moved a resolution against the war on Yemen forward. I've talked a lot on this channel about how bad the war on Yemen makes Congress look, and it's nice to see some of them finally stand up and try to do something about it. But this is taking too long. The U.S.-sponsored Saudi invasion of Yemen is already estimated to have killed over 100,000 people. Donald Trump and the Saudis will now try to convince us that they're resolving the situation and Congress doesn't need to do anything else. We cannot let them get away with that. On paper, this shouldn't be a difficult fight. On the keep murdering Yemen side, we have Trump and his administration, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. That's it. Nobody else thinks this is a good idea. Oh, yeah, except for defense contractors. People who sell bombs love this war. On the stop killing Yemeni side, we have the U.S. Senate and probably next year's new U.S. House of Representatives as well. As I talked about a couple months back, we also have almost everybody at the State Department other than the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo. We've also got any decent human being on the planet who knows anything about the conflict in Yemen. This should be a slam dunk. This should be easy to fix. Unfortunately, it's not. That's because the bad guys are unified and focused on keeping the killing going. Everybody on the other side is easily distracted and has other things to worry about, so the killing continues. The folks who want to keep the war going also have the most information about the killing because they're the ones who are doing most of the killing. The U.S.-Saudi coalition has done everything in its power to keep journalists out of the country. Way too much of what we know about this conflict comes directly from U.S. and Saudi government sources. And they are working hard to manipulate what we know about this war. The most visible aspect of U.S. support for this horror show has been the refueling of Saudi planes on their way to bomb Yemeni school buses. About a month back, the U.S. announced that it will no longer participate in this one aspect of the Saudi war effort. This is great, but if you read the fine print at all, it's clear that the U.S. military finally took this step because Saudi Arabia no longer needs their services. The move is a political attempt to convince the U.S. public that something is being done, not a real attempt to help the Yemeni people. Last week's Senate vote makes it clear that U.S. public opinion is finally waking up and turning against this horrific, pointless war. But this means that the fight is just starting. The Trump administration is going to continue to do everything it can to help the Saudis. Those rooms at the Trump hotels aren't going to rent themselves, after all. The U.S.-Saudi coalition is now going to be more constrained, but it's going to continue to use its monopoly on violence and information to get away with everything it can. Last week we saw a victory in the U.S. Senate, but a loss at the United Nations. The United Kingdom had proposed a fairly mild and both-sidesy resolution for the Security Council. The Saudis really didn't like the fact that it called for them to stop bombing Yemen's main source of food and medical supplies. Last week, the U.S. government squashed the resolution on the ridiculous pretext that it would somehow make the Saudis less willing to negotiate. More than 30 years ago, when the U.S. Congress stood up to Ronald Reagan's significantly less horrific war in Nicaragua, it took multiple interventions and multiple pieces of legislation to do the job. This time is not going to be any different. We cannot trust Donald Trump's administration to do the right thing in Yemen. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and if you want a free essay on a completely different topic, click on the link here to sign up for my email list. Thanks.